Browns a real Super Bowl contender this season based on what they did last year, based on getting Odell back, based on the improvement Baker made, all of it put together?
You know what? No, I don't, because of that quarterback, number 6. And it's not because, like, look, you know, Nick and I go back and forth all the time, Coach, with, you know, what we believe Baker Mayfield is and what he can accomplish. But I just don't think he is there yet to be able to lead and manage all the stress on that offensive side. Like, look, he ascended last year. He played well. He protected the ball. Can he do that this year? We will see. But here's the thing. This offense, this team is set up nicely. Defensively, all their moves and all their plays that they made this offseason was on the defensive side. They are now going to go from the 17th ranked defense possibly to the top 10. We will see. Add Clowney, add a safety. We will see if that defense can hold up just a little bit longer. Now, on the offensive side, you already had what you needed. All you needed was Baker Mayfield. All you needed was for him to protect the ball. But here's the problem. You have Jarvis Juice Landry and you have Odell Beckham Jr. on that side with the number 3 rushing offense in the NFL. Why is that a problem? Because wide receivers, they want to touch the ball. They want to be involved. And what we saw last year, we saw an offensive coordinator, we saw a head coach in Stefanski protect this quarterback and also lean on the run game. That's great. But if you're going to do that, you need to make sure those wide receivers can get some early touches within that offense early on. If not, you're going to see guys on the sideline frustrated. And then in the locker room, in a huddle, you're going to see guys bickering and you're going to see guys frustrated. And that starts to deteriorate everything you're doing. So do they have the formula? Yes. But you have guys out there that want to be involved. And if Baker Mayfield can't manage all of that and Kevin Stefanski can't manage all of that, then it doesn't matter who you brought in on the defensive side. It doesn't matter what Kareem Hunt and Chubbs will do with the ball. It doesn't matter at all, because you're going to need those guys to buy in and be there when you need them in the fourth quarter when the game is on the line and it's 3rd and 3 and you got Odell backside and he's one-on-one because now they loaded the boxes. They loaded the box because it's 8 men in the box and Kareem Hunt and Chubbs has been crushing them all day, and now you got to go to your guy on the slant route. You got to go to your guy on the back shoulder, and you need him to be there mentally. And last year, that wasn't the case before he went down. So, Coach, I love the makeup of this team, but I don't know if everybody's bought in right now.
Well, I disagree to some extent, Brandon. I really like what I'm hearing from Cleveland, and it's so different than the last time they went to the playoffs and they had success. They're talking about managing expectations. They're talking about running their race. It's humble. It's understanding that you don't get to start where you finish. It's so radically different than the last time they had success. And you hear Baker talking about the importance of leadership and chemistry. It's so different than worrying about what the media is saying about him or his haters or whatever other issues he used to get caught up in. And even in Odell's voice, he's not talking about, I need to make 100 plays. He just wanted to make one play. And that chemistry, that selflessness, that willing to sacrifice, that perspective, to me, that's the mark of a team that's maturing. And when you look at what they had to deal with last year, a new coaching staff, all of the COVID restrictions, so they couldn't work together, a terrible start in Baltimore, and they kept getting better. Now they're in year 2. They've got continuity. They've got one of the best offensive line coaches in the NFL. And to me, it's different. It feels different. It sounds different. It sounds mature. And that gives them such an opportunity to build on what they did last year.
I agree, Coach. I say that with just a little bit of hesitation because I'm trying to shake this image and experience of the Cleveland Browns for so many years. But I agree. Kevin Stefanski came in and just quieted everything. There was so much noise and so much chaos in Cleveland. And I can't put a lot of that on Baker. I mean, how many coaching staffs has he been through since he's been there? Coach of the Year last year. They're built to win this division. They added pieces on defense, as Brandon said. They focus on the run game. Baker is taking massive steps up at managing and distributing the ball. I don't think that Odell and Jarvis are going to have that wide receiver, I need all of the catches thing, because the mentality in Cleveland is we're all in on this together. It's a united messaging.
Joy.
It's different. It's different. I know I'm probably being optimistic here. Well, look, Odell isn't the same Odell that we're talking about from New York. Like, his brand is the same, sure, but this is a different Odell now. This is a different team. And I do think that, he mentioned the Bucs. I think that what happened in Tampa really shook a lot of people around the league. A lot of guys sacrificed. They came together, and they were a team that had missed the playoffs for 12 seasons. So they really showed, if you get it together, if you have the talents and you put it with the leadership and everyone buys in, you can do amazing things. They should be an inspiration to teams around the league who've struggled for a long time, because Tom Brady came in there and they didn't get it together immediately either, but they figured it out. So I do think that the Browns should be contenders. On paper, they have a lot of talent. They have everything that they need. If they're able to take that step up, matched with a little bit of luck, which everybody needs to win a championship, I do think that they can be contenders. And they've got to win their division first, and that's entirely possible.
Well, let me simplify it for everyone, Joy, because this is all I'm saying. Everything that's coming out sounds amazing, but we all know, and Coach knows this, it comes down to the chemistry, it comes down to teamwork. Hell, early on in my career, I was the guy that was disruptive. Then the second half of my career, I was the guy that was part of the glue in the DNA, in the fabric of what the coaches was trying to instill in the locker room in our team. But here's the deal. It comes down to those wide receivers. Like, you have everything you need. But at the end of the day, let's go back to 2019. Where was Kevin Stefanski? Kevin Stefanski was in Minnesota. Do y'all not remember the great Stephon Diggs and how frustrated he was? He wasn't getting the ball, but the team was still winning. There's something you can't change, and it's not a selfish thing. There's no knock on Jarvis Juice Landry. There's no knock on Odell. What needs to happen is there needs to be a slight mindset change with Kevin Stefanski, because you go back to 2019, his only season there as the offensive coordinator, and after that, you see Stephon Diggs get traded to the Buffalo Bills, and now he was the #1 wide receiver in the NFL. This was a guy that couldn't get a touch in Minnesota. And then all of a sudden, a year later, this guy is what, 1,700 yards in the season? Are you kidding me?
But
so,
do you think
Coach,
that,
here's the deal.
Sorry to interrupt you, Brandon. Do you think that Stephon Diggs is on this, Odell and Jarvis on the same level as Stephon Diggs to either one of them right now to take that step up if Stefanski leans in on that?
Well, here's what I'm saying is this. They know that they're not going to get 100 catches. They know they're not going to get 170 targets, excuse me. But what they want to be involved. If you go back to the film last year, Coach, they weren't targeting those guys early. And then it wasn't until Odell went down that they start getting Jarvis involved. I'm not sitting here saying, all right, look, got to get these guys the ball. That's the only way you can win. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about management, managing the players and meeting guys where they're at. You have dog wide receivers. I don't care who you are. There's not one receiver in the whole wide world to grow up and say, I'm going to be a wide receiver so I can block all day. No, wide receivers want the ball. So you have to cater to that. Like, think about that, right? So you have Odell Beckham Jr., one of the biggest stars in all of sports on your team, and you think he's going to be okay with 2 catches a game, 3 catches a game? And also Jarvis Juice Landry. Before he got to the Cleveland Browns, Coach, Jarvis was averaging 100 catches. Please, all they want is just to get involved early, give them a slant, and let them go make it do what they do.
Jarvis Landry, to me, is an impressive guy. Watching him game in and game out, what I love about Jarvis is he will block. He will consistently block, and he has toughness when he does block, and he finds ways to get involved. He finds ways to contribute. And you talked about your career and how you became the glue eventually. Odell's got to become that guy. He's got to figure that out. We talk about how talented he is, how special he is, all those things, and he has tremendous talent. But if it's not turning into production, if it's not turning into success and wins, if it's being disruptive, then it doesn't have the same value. It's just that it's potential, and it's disruptive potential.
Right.
So hopefully he'll lean in to what this team did without him, and what they can do.